Hello, you're watching Eye on Africa. I'm James Creedon. Here are our headlines this evening. An historic, peaceful transfer of power in Niger. Mohamed Bazoum has been sworn in as president, but the country remains in a volatile situation. We'll bring you some analysis at the top of the show. And in northern Mozambique, evacuations have been halted in the town of Palma because of a deteriorating security situation there. This as the French energy giant Total has pulled all its staff from a nearby gas project. More on that coming up. And on the occasion of World Autism Awareness Day, we'll take a look at how surfing is being offered as a form of therapy by one NGO in South Africa. Thanks for watching. Now we start in Niger, where the inauguration has taken place of President Mohamed Bazoum. Despite that handover of power taking place without incident, the past week was marked by a series of jihadist massacres. There was also an alleged attempted coup d'etat just 2 days ago. Bazoum did not hold back his anger over that unrest during his inauguration speech. Let's take a listen.
Pendant longtemps, les criminels embrigadés dans l'État islamique dans le Grand Sahara et UGS, affiliés à Daesh, ne s'attaquaient quasi exclusivement qu'aux forces de défense et de sécurité. Mais depuis un certain temps, ils ont commencé à s'en prendre aux chefs de village, puis progressivement aux civils de façon indiscriminée. Depuis janvier dernier, ils se livrent à des massacres de civils innocents à grande échelle, commettant à l'occasion des vrais crimes de guerre. Le terrorisme est un vrai malheur pour notre pays.
Now, earlier I spoke to Yahya Ibrahim. He's a senior analyst for the Sahel region for the International Crisis Group. I asked him about some of the major challenges that the newly inaugurated president of Niger faces. Let's take a listen.
The challenges for a country like Niger are many. First, we have the insecurity, as the president mentioned, that is spreading and intensifying across the country. We have several borders that are facing this insecurity, including border with Mali, border with Burkina Faso, with Nigeria. All these around these borders, insecurity is coming strong. The second challenge is a political challenge. The president is inheriting a country that is politically polarized. Right now, we have the government and the opposition that are up in arms. The opposition has rejected Bazoum's victory and accused the ruling party of rigging and intimidation. There are several opposition leaders that are held in custody. Another challenge, this political polarization, is putting social cohesion to test. There are ethnicist and racist comments that have proliferated throughout the electoral process in the media and social media. One thing that is unprecedented in Niger is that racist type of violence have targeted certain communities, and all these, I think, ring a bell to Nigerians, but also to the government, that the country need to be those challenges that are facing the country need to be tackled strongly. In terms of insecurity, so far Niger has pledged for a militarized solution to tackle insecurity. Now we know that this has been short from producing peace, and there is a need actually to evolve into a political solution.
Now, he has said, just to pick you up briefly on that point, Bazoum has said that any talks, he ruled out talks with jihadists. So just very quickly, do you think that needs to be reviewed? Do you think we need to move towards dialogue with at least some of these groups? Of course, it's a complex situation between Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda and Islamic State affiliated groups, so different situations.
Absolutely. There is a need to go toward talking with some of those groups in order to make peace. And actually, it is the only way, I think, for the government to go back to some of the areas that it has not been controlling effectively in order to bring in a new form of governance that would be based on the utilities and usefulness of the government rather than repression. So that is necessary in order to move forward. There is also a need for the government now to try to reach out to the opposition and make engage in dialogue so that some of the political issues that have been dividing the country and polarizing it find a solution toward dialogue.
Now, in northern Mozambique, the World Food Programme has suspended evacuations from the town of Palma due to a deterioration in security there. It's over a week since the town was stormed by Islamic State insurgents, and clashes are ongoing with the Mozambican military. And in a further blow to the region, French energy company Total has pulled all its staff from the nearby Afungi natural gas project site. Thousands have been displaced in the region over the past week, and the government has confirmed dozens of fatalities. Let's take a listen to some survivors.
I told the people that were with me to run, and we started running. We hid in the bushes. We ran on Afungi road, and we went to Kitunda, where we stayed for the night.
If it's peaceful, I'll be able to go back. But the way things are, I'm not even considering it. I want to move on. I can't go back to Palma. I don't have hope that there'll be peace there, that we'll be able to live there the way we used to.
Now, today, Friday, the 2nd of April, is World Autism Awareness Day, and the condition is often misunderstood or overlooked in parts of Africa. In South Africa alone, some 2% of the population is thought to be on the spectrum of autism. The NGO Waves for Changes has one novel way of helping children, getting them into the sea and onto a surfboard. Our reporters Sam Bradpeace and Caroline Dumais went to find out more.
Every week, this group of children visits Muizenberg Beach. The autistic youngsters relish the chance to head out of the townships where they live.
I want you guys listening to the sounds around you, the beach, the birds, and take a deep breath in and out.
The kids make animal noises. The warm-up alone lasts for about an hour.
We give them opportunity to impress themselves in any ways, and we don't judge them.
This isn't just about surfing, it's about exposing the children to unpredictable situations to help them operate in society more independently.
The program helps children to function in situations where usually they would be quite nervous or anxious or scared. Because children on the autism spectrum has got really sensitive sensory challenges, things like hearing the ocean, feeling the water when it's very cold, the sand under their feet. So one of the teachers told us there was a child who also used to jump from table to table at school because they don't want to touch the ground at school, and now the child walks around barefoot.
Clinical care for autism is in short supply across Africa. Around 1,700 children have benefited from the scheme here, and the NGO also has partners in Liberia, Sierra Leone and Somalia.
Our passion is mental health, and for us to help in carrying the mental health conversation forward, destigmatizing mental health, and also making sure that people get quality service, I believe that we can all go home and give ourselves a pat on the back.
The NGO's focus is on improving the lives of individual children by helping them navigate their disabilities as bravely as they do the waves.
Time now for some other news stories from across the continent. In Mali, the UN says 4 of its peacekeepers have been killed and several more injured after a base was attacked in the northern town of Aguelhok. The UN mission in Mali, known as MINUSMA, has deployed over 13,000 troops to contain violence by armed groups in the north and centre of the country. G7 foreign ministers have called for a transparent and impartial probe into human rights abuse in Ethiopia's Tigray region. The UN and Ethiopian Human Rights Commission have agreed to conduct a joint investigation into the violence that saw thousands killed and hundreds of thousands forced to flee their homes in recent months. In Central African Republic, the chief of one of the most powerful armed groups has died from wounds suffered during a recent attack. Siddiqui Abbas was the head of the so-called 3R group, Return, Reclamation and Rehabilitation. The news is a blow to their bid to form a coalition overthrowing President Faustin Archange Touadéra. Now, keeping vaccines at sub-zero temperatures has been a headache for authorities around the world in their response to the pandemic. Now, one startup in Nigeria has come up with a helpful gadget. It's a cooling box that can be hooked up to Wi-Fi systems, keeping its contents at well below 0 degrees. Nicolas Germain has the story.
This driver is collecting blood samples in southwest Nigeria. The limited laboratory facilities here mean samples must be sent out to specialist labs for testing.
Before we refer patients to the lab, but now when they came here, they make the job easier for us in taking the sample to the lab, and it's easy our service delivery.
This is a special kind of cooling box. It was created by a Nigerian startup. The Wi-Fi enabled box monitors temperatures. Customers can use a mobile application to track the products.
There were challenges around accessing ice packs or ice gels that are required as a precondition when transporting things like vaccines or samples from the last mile to the city. With this now, which this is like a solar-powered, battery-powered device that doesn't require all those. So without the infrastructure, this works.
The solar-powered batteries can keep the units working for up to 24 hours. The government is now employing this startup to help transport temperature-sensitive items. This year, Nigeria commissioned its first strategic cold room store to keep vaccines that will help stop the spread of the coronavirus.
Right, that's all for this edition of Eye on Africa. It was produced by Yena Lee. Thanks to her and all the team, and thank you for watching. Good night.